Ron Giles. A few days ago I did a video showing how to load the HayBoss round bale standard feeder. Today I want to talk about the costs associated with feeding small square bales traditionally versus slow feeding of round and big square bales. Perhaps we'll chat about a certain couple. Let's start with old-fashioned Ronnie. I've been a big fan of feeding small square bales all my life. My father fed square bales, as did his father before him. The truth of the matter is that I let Karen feed all of our horses. I think there are about 14. She gets such a kick out of it, and it was only taking her about 5 minutes per horse in the morning, and another 5 minutes per night, or 10 minutes per horse per day. That woman is fast. And being the loving husband that I am, I actually agreed to make lighter bales for my wife to handle, even though it costs a bit more, because it costs about the same amount to wrap and stack a 50-pound square bale as it does a 60-pound square bale. But things took a turn for the worse. Karen found out about the benefits of slow feeding hay. Being she is passionate about horse health, she bought a bevy of hay nets and the stuffing began. Now chores are taking 3 times as long, and dinner was suffering. It seems there just isn't enough time for prep around our house. Now old-fashioned Ronnie was about to become a born-again hay feeder. Karen was talking about slow feeding round bales, and now I'm all ears. Well, that was roughly 6 years ago, and we've been in a transition ever since. There's a lot of information out there about the benefits of slow feeding hay. It's very similar to grazing, just ask Karen. But even I can see the horses aren't getting too fat. They've stopped cribbing, and they certainly seem happier. The horses spend most of their time grazing the round bale or the big square baling, and the bulling is virtually stopped. Although it's incredible really, on occasion we have had up to 5 horses on a feeder and everybody gets along great. I think it's because they're busy eating. Once in a while when the feeder is empty, Karen will break small square bales into small piles as we traditionally did over the years, and the fighting begins. The dominant horses are biting and chewing, subordinate horses were taking a beating. At first we didn't see that coming, and we were a little slow to react. We actually had a horse injured before we got them separated. Same horses under different feeding conditions brought out different personalities. HayBoss Feeders comes in 3 ways. There's a standard round bale feeder that I showed the other day, the XL that's designed for big squares, and the Junior for small squares. Each feeder has optional nets. You can have a net with smaller holes for animals with smaller mouths. For example, donkeys, goats, and sheep. For this example, though, I want to use the pricing of a standard round bale feeder with larger holes, probably best suited for horses. The feeder can be set in a fence line between 2 pens. You could actually feed horses on one side, use a different net on the other side, and feed sheep, for an example. The feeder with the larger holes sells for $3,450 knocked down for easy shipping. You can have Airdrie trailers set it up for an additional $225. For comparison, we're going to use the knockdown price of $3,450. I think we need to go over to the easel here so I can explain this better. So let's use a smaller round bale. Let's say that this round bale that we're buying today, we can buy for $80. And a square bale, small square bales, traditionally people say they're 60 pounds. I don't think they very often are. And they're actually probably selling for around $10 a bale. Now the round bale cost per pound of hay is 6 cents. But $10 for a 60-pound square bale, if it weighs 60 pounds, is 17 cents a pound. We're going to use 3 horses. I use 3 horses here because 3 horses at 20 pounds a day, which is the typical amount that a horse would eat, uses up 1 bale a day. So it was easy for me to figure on 3 horses. It will change if you have 2 horses or 1 horse or 6 horses, of course. So let's say that, so 3 horses are going to eat a bale a day here, and that's obviously going to cost $10. It costs us $10 for that bale. But the same 3 horses eating the same 60 pounds a day at round bale price will only cost $3.60. So when we take a look at that, we say a savings of $10 versus a square bale, $3.60 versus a round bale cost is $6.40 a day, and that adds up to $2,336 a year. So if we think about our $3,450, in the first year, we will actually save $2,336 per year. And in less than a year and a half, our round bale feeder is now going to be paid for. So as we move forward, if we consider all things being equal, you only have to put a bale in every 3 days, every 3 weeks, leaving you about 20 days of not actually having to feed your horse. You get 20 days off in between. In the first year, you save $2,336. The end of the second year, if you've been paid for, and you'll have $1,368 more dollars in your pocket. Now, usually somebody will bring up, what about the teeth? We've heard that's hard on the teeth. Actually, we watch our horses' teeth very closely, and we feel, since we've got the round bale or the nets, we actually feel like we've had less dental problems. I'm not sure why that should be attributed, whether it's because they're eating all the time or not, but I'm going to say that our horses have never had healthier teeth than they have today. So to recap, your horses will be healthier, happier, you'll spend less time on chores, meaning, and some people, it means you can actually leave them for a few days if need be. The bottom line is, less than a year and a half, your feeder is paid for. You'll be saving around $2,400 a year based on 3 horses. That'll change depending on the amount of your horses. I say only a rich man can afford to feed horses any other way.